Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the Hunter Loves Voiceplay podcast, Geoff Edition. So we are here with another episode out of Geoff, and I am in love with this one, and it has a very dear place in my heart. His cover of The Sound of Silence by, well, Simon and Garfunkel originally did it, and then Disturbed kind of took it and made it a little bit more of a popular version that almost everybody knows it or has heard about. Geoff's is not necessarily that. He has taken that song, turned it on his head, as he always does, and has turned it into something that is extremely... I can't even tell you how amazing his version is. So I'm gonna just get right into it. I know that people had requested this one a lot, and it took him a while to get it done and out to us, but it was worth the wait because he did such an amazing job with it. So I was not expecting him to have piano in this. So when the video was first released, I was like, okay, let me sit back and watch this happen. But of course I already, was familiar with it because, Disturbed starts out with piano. But I wouldn't say that the chord structure is different. It is a little bit. Also, with Disturbed, for example, you have kind of that more orchestral type of feel to it. And it's a lot more slower. But Geoff switch that up, and I was taken aback by it because, again, there's so many elements at play here, and as far as his arranging goes, he always puts in those elements that are just oh my god, so I think it was after the first chord or the single note, I'm like, damn it, he's playing piano again, and I'm like, I'm not going to be able to get through this, because any time that he sits down at a piano, I instantly start crying. That's my, my Achilles heel, if you will. If you want, if somebody was to interrogate me, they would just have to play all of Geoff's piano pieces, and I would be crying, and I would tell, all of my secrets. I would just put them flat out, right? So I wasn't expecting piano. I wasn't expecting him to go fully upbeat with this one either. Yeah, once the video starts and you see his hands on the piano, I'm like, here we go again. It's I'm not even 5 seconds in and he's already stabbed me in the heart. In a good way. So we get started, and he put in a subwoofer into this. I always like it in the chats when people actually ask him to, kind of explain his process, because I've said this before, I've wanted to pick his brain, but then once he tells us, how an arrangement comes to be and how he does it, it's just always so amazing just to sit back and be like, oh yeah, I see what you're saying. And through the years of me being able to, kind of, to listen to those conversations with him and listen to his, his process, it opens another door to me understanding just a little bit more deeply, how his process comes to be and how he does it. But there's still so many elements in there that I'm just nope, I want to pick your brain. I want to be like Hannibal Lecter. I want to pick your brain. Just what are the thoughts that are going through that guy's brain, what's going on? What's constantly going? What's not constantly going? It's just, it's always incredible once you get the final project, and it's so worth being a patron of his, because he just does fantastic work. Anyway, I'm getting distracted. So we get into The Sound of Silence. There's the piano, subwoofer. First couple times I heard it, I felt it in the back of my skull, and I was like, okay. I was like, this is a little bit of ASMR going on here. I mean, not that that's what he was aiming for, but that's what it felt like. And I told him, I'm like, I got the brain tickles, because this is holy cow. And I was only wearing a cheapy Sony pair of earbuds. They had noise canceling, but the bass is just It's super, super good. Haven't listened to Sound of Silence in my new headset. We'll see how that goes. If I go missing, if I'm inactive for a couple days on my YouTube channel, then you'll know what happened. So there's that subwoofer, and it's like just pulse into your brain. And it's like, oh boy, here we go. This is incredible. This is so fun. Like, I love this so much already. And like, he starts with, "Hello, darkness, my old friend," except a lot lower. And his voice, just silky, smooth, resonant. Oh, it's just, it just makes me melt every time. Like, this was like a really good stress reliever after a long day of work. You know, just sit in the dark, light some candles, get a good pair of headphones, lie down on the floor, and just listen to it. And all of your stress will go away. But in my case, not only did it de-stress me, but it also gave me those audible goosebumps that I love getting from him particularly. So, I'm going to sip my coffee to that statement. Ugh, it's getting cold. Gross. Anyway, so we get to like the first line, and I'm already enthralled with it. And I'm not paying much attention to it because it's just, he's already drawn you in, and he's already gotten your attention with it. So it's just like, oh man, it's like, how am I going to survive this? This is 4 minutes long. We'll see. So we get through kind of the first verse. And this song particularly has no chorus and no bridge. Well, it sort of has a bridge, but not really. We tend to suggest songs that have no choruses or no bridges, so then that gives him a little bit more of a challenge. But it worked out. We did good. He did good. And then, so we get through the first line and we get through the second line, and then he enters in with this beautiful, beautiful humming that it just kind of like fills in that spot because there's no chorus, particularly in this song itself. So then he just puts in a little bit more instrumentalization into there. It's gorgeous, and I'm like, it just feels like you're humming into my soul right now. Like, it's just... So then we get into... Okay, so then there's... Hello, darkness, my old friend. Softly creeping. Lifted seats while I was sleeping. You see, like, I'm going into Simon and Garfunkel here. And the lighting in the video... Ellie Jacobson... Just... Chef's kiss. Oh. The timing was incredible on it. And like, that's another element in this too, because somebody came up with a fan theory that said that it was like somebody, like with Simon and Garfunkel, it was like the event has happened. Disturbs was the kind of the during everything that's happened, and now Geoff's is like the aftermath. Like, this event, whether it be tragic or not, has happened, and then we're trying to like recover from that trauma, or trying to recover from whatever it was that happened, like the event in question, right? I'm listening to this, and like, just the lighting comes in at a certain spot, and it's like, and it's just, it, like, when he says a neon light, he has like this like neon kind of pinkish red, purplish fuchsia, I guess I would say it's like a fuchsia, and it shines on his face, and it's like, I see what you're getting at. Like, I see where you're going with that. And that was like brilliant for that. And so like, we keep on going on, and then the single light just kind of turns on for like a split moment, and then it shuts off, because it's almost like, we're getting close to the light, and we're getting close to the end of the suffering that we've been stuck in the darkness for, but we're not there yet. Like, we're not fully into it yet. And so, we keep on going. He does this beautiful, beautiful run in, I can't even remember the line, but his runs are just, they're beautiful. Again, it's like, I'm overwhelmed by all the elements that come into play with these. And it's just like, slow down, man. It's like, I need time to process all of this. So it's like, I can't. So then I think I'm going to move ahead here. And then we get to the point of where it's like, fool said I, you do not know. And at first, I'm hearing lead vocal. And then after a couple of repeated listenings, I hear the harmonies in the back. And I'm like, holy crap. Like, I'm like, are you kidding me right now? Like, it's like, I'm taken away by that. Those are gorgeous. They're beautiful. Oh my god. It's like, how much more of this can I deal with? Just the lighting cues in that one are just exquisite. Like silence like a cancer grows. And he's not short of throwing in low notes in there. And some of them are just soul rattling. And it's like, oh. It's like, dude, you're making me melt into a puddle here. It's like, I don't know how much more of this I can take. And it's just a very gentle process. Like, it's just, you're just along for the ride. You're just, you're just very gently going through it. And it's like, like, and then I'm like, well, I know Disturbed. And a lot of people do know Disturbed. And when it comes to, like, the kind of the eureka moment, the climax, if you will, of that version in particular. Damien? Is that his name? Darian? Damien? I forget. He, like, goes full into his, like, metal scream, right? And kind of just to give it a little bit more of that theatrical punch and that theatrical, hit, right? And, like, there's a lot of guitar in that one. And, he just punches it through. But for Geoff, oh my goodness, it's like, oh, that's what the line was. Just the run that he does with my words like silent raindrops fell, because he goes like, in my word, and it's like, oh, it's like, bro, I was not expecting you to run. He's full of surprises. Yeah, and then it's like, we just kind of keep on going, and then he says, echoes in the wells of silence. And then in the video, there's this quick pan, and he's standing there, and the lights have come on to full, like the lights are on fully, because it's like he's like been struggling, he's been fighting something, and he's fighting it, and then he finally gets to that point of where it's like, I am in the light. I have succeeded in whatever it is. I have, become victorious over whatever it was that I was fighting. He gets to "and the people bowed and prayed," which is I wouldn't say it's like the bridge of this, but we'll call it the bridge. He's going into his higher range for this, and I'm like, wait, what? It's my favorite part of this whole entire song. It's just, God, like the harmonies in it are beautiful. The man can harmonize with himself gorgeously. Just, I can't say it enough. He just does amazing work with himself. And, and there's no clones in this video, which was surprising too, because I was like, I'm like, there's harmonization, but yet there's no bodies to accompany said, vocalization. But it's just beautiful. The piano is gorgeous. Oh my god, I have been wanting to I've been wanting to learn that on my virtual piano, but I haven't had the time to really sit down and practice. Who does that sound like, right? If you've seen the BTS, you'd know who I'm talking about. Yeah, so we get to this gorgeous bridge, and he brings it up into his higher range. And then there's just like this boom, boom, and it's like just kind of the instrumental that's following in the background. And it's just kind of like this very powerful, like it just shows power. That it's just like you're beating back against whatever it was that was defeating you. And it's like you're at this moment of, like you've come into yourself again. And it's like, there is like this power within me. There is this light. There is this, new beginning kind of deal for me. And like you're fighting against it. And it's just like it just follows in for that one moment. And he gets a little bit of rock tenor in him too. Because when he says subway walls, he really pushes that to the front. And I'm like, dude, I love that. Absolutely. Just, I had never smiled so large in my life, and I had never cried while laughing. Well, not laughing. I wasn't laughing, but it's like just kind of at the beginning, I was crying because I'm like, oh my god. I'm like, this is just so beautiful and so moving, and I'm like, I haven't cried like this since till then, you know. And then once we get to that bridge and he, just does what it is that he does, and then we get to this beautiful high note and like this stacked of in the sound, and he's like holding this gorgeous belt while he's doing it. So it's like there's belt, and then in the sound, in the sound, and in the sound, and he's like at the top, and it's like, you could have warned me, as I'm like wiping tears out of my eyes because it's just so gorgeous. And like, we're at that climax, right? And then we instantly drop down into the falling action, which is I wish you could see what I'm doing with my hands right now. It's pretty hilarious. So it's like we get to the falling action, and then it's like he just does like this beautiful of silence. And, then we're back into the piano as we were before. And that gorgeous, gorgeous humming instrumentation that, just we had before to fill up that empty space. And then we get into the beautiful piano at the ending. And then it's like that sustained note at the very end. Just him holding on to it. And then, like, of course, in a lighting sense, we're back into the darkness. And it's like, not to say that he was talking about, like, mental health specifically in this one, but I am getting that aura of it, because it's like, for anybody, even like myself, who suffers from mental disorders, we do have those moments of, like, yes, we're alone, we're in the darkness, we're, depressed, or we're just having a really, really bad time. But then there's also those moments of euphoria where it's like, we feel great, we feel renewed, we feel powerful. And then it's like, but it's only for a moment. It's only for those few seconds, and then life happens, and then we get struck down right back into that darkness. And, it's very difficult to have to deal with that. But, with this story specifically, that's kind of how I see it, is that it's like Simon and Garfunkel was the precursor, Disturbed was the middle, and Geoff is the aftermath. So it's like, you've already been through this journey, and you've been through this darkness, and you've been through, tough times, but now you're at the end. You've made it to a spot in your life, as hopefully, brings better. And so there's an interesting thing about this. If I'm going back to, just to the video for a second here, not only is Geoff looking absolutely handsome in that video, the lighting. If you just listen to that video without sound and you watch the lighting, it's almost like the lighting is telling a story itself too. And it's just beautifully executed. The timing is gorgeous, and I will give Lane props for his Steadicam work, because I can imagine that probably wasn't, super easy, to get those shots as he did, but he did tremendous work as well. A lot of it was a bit out of focus, so hard focus probably would have helped a little bit in that sense, but just good work all around from everybody. Kathy being the production manager of all of this, Ellie's gorgeous cues, and Lane's Steadicam work, always, all of it comes into the end production of it all. And Geoff's gorgeous piano playing, like, that tune is stuck in my head. Like, it's like I would have to go back and listen to the instrumental of the piano just to familiarize myself with it again, because it's so this is just a gorgeous, gorgeous piece of work. I mean, I'm a heavy Disturbed fan, man. To be perfectly honest, I'm very heavy into Disturbed. I did not had my doubts about Geoff doing his own thing. And I'm like, how do people, how are people going to live up to Disturbed's version, right? Like, how is it going to happen? And Geoff did that. He managed to reset the bar, not turn out exactly like Disturbed's version, but make it his own and make it something that even myself, as a Disturbed fan, will enjoy. Congrats. Great job. Yeah, like, it was just like from that first note, and once I see him on the piano, I'm dead already. 2 seconds and I'm already dead. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful piece of work. I'm going to put a link in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Please leave me a like, a subscribe, a comment. Let me know if this episode has no sound when I upload it to YouTube. Oh, God. That was terrible. The funny story about that was when I uploaded Valhalla Calling, I had to re-upload it because a friend had told me that it was like, oh, there's no sound to this. And I'm like, what? And then I look, and I'm like at 39 views. So 39 people had clicked on that video, but yet there's no sound. And it's like, you can't win. And I haven't even checked the re-upload to see how many views I have on it yet. But, if it's a lower number, then it's probably like, oh, that makes sense. But yeah, so subscribe, leave a comment, a like, and share with your friends. It's always good. If you find this interesting, if there's any other songs that you want me to talk about, send your suggestions my way. I'm more than happy to do those for you. So, yeah, I think that about does it. Go check out Sound of Silence. Go and support Geoff on Patreon. It is fun over here. It's fun. We have low notes, coffee, tea, cats, snacks, tiny little apple juices, and tiny little crackers. So, we're set. So, thanks for watching, guys. I will see you guys in the next one.